episode 72 of the Potter Discussion. I'm your host, Oscar, and here on the Potter Discussion, we discuss some of Harry Potter's deepest and darkest theories, tidbits, and little Easter eggs you might have missed, and you probably did. Today's episode is yet another theory about Mad-Eye Moody's staff. As I was watching the Order of the Phoenix movie, I was looking at the Battle of the Ministry of Magic, when Harry and his friends fell into the Death Chamber and they were ambushed by the Death Eaters, and they had that whole duel. We can talk a little bit more about that later, but a scene that I noticed and was a little confused about was Mad-Eye Moody was dueling a Death Eater, and he used his staff to block and to cast a spell. And I have no idea how that works. And another weird detail that I noticed was Mad-Eye Moody's wand and his staff actually match, which is odd because I don't think he got his staff when he got his wand, so how could they have any correlation with each other? Maybe he carved his staff after getting his wand, but that still seems unlikely because he got his wand first. So at 11, he would go into Ollivander's, get his wand, and then go on with his life. No staff. Then when we see him, he has his staff with his limp and his missing eye, chunk of his nose missing, really grizzled leg. So he just really appeared with the staff and the wand in the same scenes when they weren't really supposed to be together or even matching. So this theory is explaining Mad-Eye Moody's staff and telling you where it came from. Let's go. Okay, now the bulk of the theory, the origin of Mad-Eye Moody's staff. Mad-Eye Moody is the slightly insane and paranoid but brilliant auror who loves to put criminals in jail. He's always running around catching bad guys with his crazy eye and staff. The eye we can wrap our minds around, but the staff, not so much. At first glance, you might think I'm crazy. He has a limp, so he uses a staff. But when you look a little closer, that doesn't quite add up. The staff Moody uses is extremely well carved and intricate. I don't think he just picked that up off the street. Why did Moody use that staff? Where did it even come from? Let's get into it. To find out where the staff even came from, we need to narrow down the possible ways Moody could have gotten it. As the list seems endless, we should get going. Moody is the kind of person who would take great pride in extreme accomplishments. He might not outwardly express what he feels, but Mad-Eye Moody would love to somehow show what he did. Having a staff like the one Moody has is something you don't find every day. That is because it isn't just a piece of wood. The staff Moody has is magical and very powerful. Throughout the story, Moody uses his staff for many other things besides walking, flying and blocking spells, just to name a few. In the 5th book, Harry and his friends are ambushed at the Ministry of Magic. The Order of the Phoenix arrived just in time to, in a very cool way I might add, step in and save the day. Then the dueling begins. Fights break out in every corner, and for a fleeting moment, Moody gets the screen. He is dueling a Death Eater in a crevice of rock. When the Death Eater fires off a spell towards the end of the duel, Moody slams his staff to the ground, not only blocking the spell, but creating a small explosion and a spell of his own. My walking stick definitely cannot do that. We see him doing this again in the background. So far, this staff has been made out to be a very formidable opponent. And I think it is. So, the million-dollar question. Where did the staff come from? The answer to that question can be found by looking at the small details. For example, Moody's staff and his wand actually match. They are both made out of the same thing and have the same skull design on the end. But you get your wand at age 11. But Moody's staff came into use when he got his limp. We can only assume Moody didn't get his limp before 11. And the smallest detail of all, Mad-Eye Moody can't produce a corporeal patronus. That might not seem all that surprising, but just think. Moody is one of the most, if not the most powerful auror the Ministry has ever seen. A corporeal patronus should be the least of his skills. What does this mean? What have we been circling? I'll tell you. Moody got a different wand at age 11, using it all through his education at Hogwarts. But once entering the auror space, he faces a very formidable opponent. Luckily, he defeats them. Unfortunately, he was hit with a nasty spell right in the leg. But his opponent was defeated all the same. In celebration, Moody takes their wand and fashions a staff to match. Well, there you go. That is the theory for today, the origin of Moody's staff. And personally, I've been wondering about this for a very long time, in fact. Ever since the first couple of views, I guess you'd call it, of the fifth film. And that's just because I was thinking about how you don't just pick up a piece of wood and because you're a wizard, you can make it do what a wizard's staff would do. So Moody's staff, that was kind of almost like an outlier. And that's why I was so curious about it. But one of the biggest reasons I think this theory is so beneficial is we never actually know what his staff is and if it even plays an important role in Moody's life or later story. We do, in fact, know that he lost his leg, eye, part of his nose, and who knows what else, fighting Death Eaters in his auror career, so we can assume that he got his staff from one of those injuries, his leg, I guess. But it's just a question of when Moody lost his leg and how he did it, who his leg got blown out from, and really why he wanted to mark the occasion by taking their wand and making a staff to match. But really, if you look at two side-by-side pictures of the staff and the wand, there is a really, really big similarity between the two. It has the exact same skull on the back, and it's, I guess if you would scale it up or down, and it's the same size, and it has the same design on whatever part of the whatever that object is. The only difference is on the staff. It has a little bit of an extra curved thing, just so Moody can hold it. Just a piece of wood. It would work, but it's much easier for him to hold it like that. But another interesting point was about how he lost his leg and replaced it. I mean, I don't know. Having a staff with his leg is obviously done together, and I don't know, maybe he was born without a leg or something like that, but we know for a fact his leg was there as a wooden leg. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you get a wooden leg, so I don't know, that remains to be seen. But having a staff to go along with his leg, we can only assume that he got those together. So I don't think, your high school bully doesn't blow off your leg just for fun, so I'm pretty sure he got that in a pretty serious accident that could only be made by a Death Eater. And sure, maybe he fell off of a hippogriff like Harry almost did when he was young, and he made a staff and he decided, you know what, I'm going to get a wand just like this. But did Ollivander even have that wand? I don't think Ollivander could have even had that wand. He only had that wand because someone else made it, and maybe it wasn't even Ollivander. Maybe it was someone else, someone completely different, who made that wand, and the Death Eater who got that wand and then used it against Moody, which obviously failed. Then Moody took that wand, made a staff to match, and went on with his life. I think the timeline here might be a little messy, so we should probably straighten this out. So Moody is born with his mother, and he goes on life and continues to do whatever he does in his childhood. Then at 11, he gets his first wand, and we should just assume that that wand is not the one that he has and matches his staff. And he goes through all of Hogwarts doing well, getting good grades in all his classes, and then he leaves Hogwarts to go to the Ministry. I think he probably started in some kind of auror job. I don't think he started like a desk job. That's not Moody at all. And so he started in the Ministry of Magic. Then after he got into the branch of aurors, he started doing auror things. And early in his career, he got into a little bit of a tussle with one of the Death Eaters after defeation. Defeation? I don't know what I'm saying. But after the Death Eater was defeated, Moody unfortunately lost his leg, made a staff, and then continued on. And when he lost his leg, I don't think we could ever know that. And I don't think it's really that important to this theory. But Mad-Eye Moody lost so many parts of himself. I don't really think narrowing down where one, his leg, who needs a leg, part of his body lost, narrowing down when he lost it, it would be quite a journey. I mean, I think we could do it, but I don't know. It's a little shady where that area is. So, seeing when and where all of this happened, I think, is a really interesting part to how this all kind of turns out and shapes. Having I got my wand when I was 11, and then I made a staff to match when I was older. It makes a lot of sense, and I think, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but that's kind of a common thing to do. You get something to match what you already have later, and that's something that a lot of people do. With Moody, it's just a very Moody thing. The case is just very Moody. He lost a leg. He didn't lose his lucky charm, so we got a new one. He just lost a leg, and then he made something to help him. First, he made a wooden leg, and then he had, the staff to go along with it. So, even what he did to replace what he lost does make sense in regards to the timeline and just general human behavior. I mean, I think we can categorize Moody as not behaviorally like a human, if we really need to. But for all intensive purposes, yikes, we should call him just a normal person who, okay, alright, I'll give you that one. He's not really that normal, but he does normal things for the most part, I think. So that's what we're gonna call it. Right, I didn't really think that through at all. But let's just assume that he's somewhat normal and does somewhat normal things. I don't know, maybe he goes out in the woods and catches rabbits for dinner, but who knows? Let's just move on from that and never think about that again. Okay, after that horribly long, rambling segment thing, mabobber, whatever, I just want to make one last, rambling segment thing, mabobber, whatever, before we stop. And in order to make a theory, I always, look back on some scenes to see if we missed anything, just for another set of eyes, in other words, mine, for the 100th time. So I was watching that scene where Mad-Eye Moody, does his staff thing, but the only version I could find was the whole battle, and I didn't really want that, but then I watched it again. It was awesome. It was so good, and I can't believe how I forgot about how good everything sounded. It was so amazing how well everything just worked, and there was no dragging, classic movie meme kind of thing where it's goes on to be something everyone laughs at. That's the thing that goes on and everyone is says wow at. And everything, just the music, the sound effects. I think one of the best parts of that scene was how the order came in and they landed, and especially when Sirius came in and his line and the way he just defeated Lucius Malfoy. And in a deleted scene, we saw him going to Azkaban, and he had a neck brace and a bandage over his eye. So, man, Sirius really got him. But especially, there were two characters, actually, Mad Eye Moody and Kingsley. When they landed, it was like, whoa. And Lupin also had a good landing. It was just so, like, majestic, and, like, the order is here. So, like, all right, go off now. We're going to take care of it kind of thing. And especially, I'm bringing back to the music. The music and the sound effects were awesome. And another amazing part of the scene was the contrast between the white and the black. The Death Eaters wore all black clothes. Yeah, I think one of them even had, like, black face paint on. He was probably an intern, he didn't really know how it was done. So, the Death Eaters flew, like, with black smoke. I don't know how they did that, but then the Order of the Phoenix flew with, like, a white, I don't know what you'd call that, fog? Liquid unicorn hair? Who knows? Who knows how they even did it? But just to see them, like, twisting through the air, battling in their, like, fog, smoke thing, whatever it forms, that's just the contrast and everything that kind of culminated to this awesome thing. And all the dueling, all the quick shots, all of the, main character taking control, everything just ended perfectly. And yeah, that ended perfectly too. If you have any questions, comments, or theories that you would like to hear on the podcast, definitely send me an email. My email is thepotterdiscussion@gmail.com. That is thepotterdiscussion@gmail.com. If you could just scroll down on your favorite podcast app of choice, or head over to Apple Podcasts and leave a written review, that really helps me out and helps other people find the show and tells everyone else if this is worth listening to. Also, make sure to subscribe if you're on YouTube or on your podcast app to never miss another episode of this exciting content. As always, use this information to your advantage, and I will see you later.